Today's case is quite upsetting. That's an understatement. It's absolutely devastating. I am going to be including images which some may find disturbing or upsetting. Hey, it's Mel. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, it's lovely to have you here. Today we're going to be looking at the incredible true story of the 2012 film The Impossible. The film was directed by J.A. Bayona, and he wanted to make sure that this film was as realistic as possible, and he succeeded there. It tells the story of a family that survived a deadly tsunami in 2004 and later, by sheer luck, reunited in a hospital. There's a lot to cover, so let's get into it. The film was based on the Belon Alvarez family of 5. The family consisted of Maria Belon and her husband Enrique Alvarez, along with their 3 sons, Lucas age 10, Thomas age 8 and Simon age 5. They had travelled from their home in Spain to Khao Lak, Thailand for their Christmas holidays. Maria at the time was a doctor. The family was staying at the Orchid Resort Hotel. They would later become victims of the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami that ripped across 7 countries including Thailand. It's described as the most deadly tsunami in history. On the 26th of December, Boxing Day, at 7:58 a.m, Maria was reading a book on a lounge chair, watching her husband Enrique play with their 3 sons in a swimming pool. A strange sound was heard, a sort of rumbling noise, and out of nowhere, the family were hit by a tsunami. Maria later said in an interview, quote, "I didn't think it was the sea, I thought it was a black wall coming to get us," end quote. It was a 200-foot wave. Seconds before it happened, Maria screamed for her husband and her sons. Lucas cried out, "Mama, Mama." The tsunami ripped through buildings, picked up cars, destroyed trees. People were getting hit by vehicles while drowning in the water. It was absolute chaos. Many people were swept away. Within minutes, the hotel was underwater. The Belon family was separated. The destruction was caused by an underground earthquake, where one ocean plate slips below another. The 2 plates in this case were the Indian and Australia tectonic plates, comprising a 900-mile fault line. The 9.1 magnitude earthquake had triggered a tsunami by causing the ocean floor to suddenly rise by 40 meters. 1 hour after the tsunami, the waves were still travelling at 500 miles per hour. 149 British people died. 8 hours later, after the tsunami ended, 200,000 people had died, including women, children and even babies. 2,000 of them were tourists. Maria was pushed against walls, she drowned, and she was underwater for over 3 minutes. She had a deep gash on her chest and a terrible wound on her thigh. She truly believed that all of her family had perished, they had died, and she was the only one left. But then she heard Lucas yelling for her in the water, and without hesitation she went to go get him, dodging cars, bricks, trees. I mean, the waves are crashing high, but she don't care. She's off to save her son, like the queen mother that she is. Any parent would do that in that situation. In an interview, she said that during that time when she heard Lucas's voice, she was relieved that someone had made it out and she wasn't alone. Her son is still alive. Lucas and Maria held onto a tree trunk and then later climbed up a tree. Maria felt herself dying. She had deep wounds, internal bleeding. A local Thai man later found Maria and Lucas. This man saved Maria. He refused to let her die. For a long time, he dragged her body through the mud all the way to the hospital. After the tsunami hit, Enrique had lost a hold of his 2 younger sons, Simon and Thomas. He crashed into a column on the ground floor of the hotel. He got washed away but grabbed onto a tree and he clung onto that for half an hour. He just started crying. He was absolutely sure that everyone else had drowned, they had died. However, minutes later he heard Thomas yelling, "Simon, Papa, Mama," and Lucas. Thomas and his dad were reunited and they sat on the branch of another tree for half an hour. They then heard little Simon yelling for help while the water was rushing in. This next part always gets me, like it makes me actually emotional. There's one scene in particular, side note, when the tsunami hits. and Lucas is trying to get to his mother and they're in the water. A car with a baby in it is just going past the water. Second wave hits and the baby is just gone. You can't hear the baby crying anymore. Enrique got Simon and he later teamed up with another grieving husband to search for Maria and Lucas. He had to make the hardest decision of leaving his sons in the care of strangers on the roof of the hotel while he went searching for Maria and Lucas. After hours of searching through different hospitals, he finally found Maria and Lucas. Maria was in absolutely awful shape. She had a broken nose, and the wave caused bleeding in her bladder, intestines and kidneys. She had lost part of her leg. The Belon family were reunited 2 days later. After leaving Thailand, Maria spent a year and 2 months in hospitals in Singapore and in Spain. After the tsunami, the family barely spoke of it. The tsunami killed 230,000 people across Thailand, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and 11 other countries. The Belon family spent 6 months sleeping with all the lights on and all suffered PTSD. Little Simon, who bear in mind was 5 years old at the time, had nightmares about monsters with no eyes. When Enrique found Simon in the water, he was near 2 corpses, one of whom had no eye. It's bad enough imagining this shit, but never mind actually being there and experiencing it. The Impossible film was actually shot in Khao Lak, Thailand, at the Orchid Resort Hotel and later in the hospital where the family reunited. The director wanted the film to be as realistic as possible. The Belon family during filming actually returned to Thailand for the first time since the tragedy. They also met their actor counterparts. Each year on the 26th of December, the Belon family gather on a beach to remember those who lost their lives. The family supported the film as they wanted to raise awareness on tsunamis, and they are still doing so. This family is so selfless, like they are just such a kind, caring family. Maria, who is now age 57, still works as a doctor and is a motivational speaker. She also works as an advocate for survivors who are still recovering from the disaster. Enrique works with refugees who arrive in Greece. Lucas, now aged 29, followed in his mum's footsteps and became a doctor as well. He was also one of the people who were helping the COVID patients in various hospitals in London. Thomas also advocates for early warning signs of tsunamis. The family stayed in touch with the man Enrique was travelling with while searching for Lucas and Maria, but it was really difficult. This man had lost 2 of his babies. Simon studies in the Netherlands, and Thomas, who is now aged 27, studies at the University of Wales. And Maria says it was just sheer luck that they found each other again. Other families were not so lucky. They were just swept away, separated from one another. Other families were torn apart by grief. I feel really bad for the parents out there that are still grieving over the loss of a child that got swept away by the tsunami. One couple lost their 3 children, including a 16-day-old baby. So I'm going to need to watch some cat videos after filming this because I don't know, I just need to be cheered up. But at the same time, I don't want this incident to be forgotten, just wiped away under the rug. No, okay, these are people, families who have lost loved ones, and they need to be remembered. Some victims have never been found due to their body being ripped apart by the tsunami. Another victim, 48-year-old mum of one, June Abiratney, from Kingswood, Surrey, had travelled to Sri Lanka to open up an orphanage. That was her dream. June and her family were on their Christmas holidays at the Yala Safari Park. June died after saving her 11-year-old daughter Alexandra by pushing her out of a bathroom window when the tsunami hit. June's husband Viraj survived. Alexandra was found a few miles away unconscious, but her mum sadly drowned. While doing research for this, I came across so many of the victims' stories. If you guys want me, on the anniversary of the tsunami on the 26th of December, to make an annual video each year in respect to remember those that lost their lives, then I'd be willing to do that. Let me know. That's all for today. That was the horrifying case of the Belon family and the true story of the 2012 film The Impossible. As always, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.